Alright, today we're going to be replacing the screen on an iPhone 12 Pro Max. We got it sitting on the heat pad. I'm just going to get it warmed up to 190 and then we'll start by removing these two bottom screws here and here. So we're just going to remove those. Just like that. Set those to the side. And the second one. There's your little screw sticking out. If you can't get it out with your screwdriver, you can always use a pair of needle nose tweezers. And let this heat up. And the tools we're going to be using today are needle nose tweezers. We're going to be using your screwdriver for the bottom two screws. It's I believe a Penelope. We're going to be using a tri-wing. We're going to have some pry tools such as that and the triangle, and then I have my electric screwdriver here. This is just a magnet to help pull the screws off. And we also may be using another plastic spudger such as this. Believe that screen is warm enough. So the phone, we're going to attempt to turn it on first. And nothing. So the customer brought it to me and said that they believe it needs a screen replacement. So I'm not sure if the phone is already on. We'll go ahead and get this screen removed. We're just going to put this spudger under the edge and pull it down on it, just like that. I'm going to slide the spudger around the edges. The more you warm it up, the easier this is going to be. That's why I put it on 190. 180 would work to get it off, even 170. But, like I said, the warmer you get it, the easier it's going to come off. And I know it doesn't look exactly easy, because it's not the easiest. I don't cut my videos. I don't take them apart beforehand. Like a lot of videos you watch on YouTube. I mean, yeah, they're going to show you the process of what you need to do, but they're not going to show you how difficult it's actually going to be. So I'm just pulling up a little bit on the end. Since the screen's already broke, it's not really going to matter too much. Now, it's going to be different if you're just replacing the battery. You're not going to want to put very much pressure on that screen, because the screen will break. These OLED panels are super thin versus your old LCDs. These are very thin. And just take the pry bar and just twist it sideways. And there we go. So what I like to do is put my finger. Okay, so iPhone 12s, you're going to have your cables on the left side. If you're looking at the phone, your cables are over here. So I like to take my finger and push the opposite direction at the bottom. Just kind of twist the screen. That helps get this up. Now, even if you're just replacing a battery or something inside, that little twist method is good so you're not prying up under the top of that screen, because a lot of the times it'll get stuck up here. You'll have the rest of it loose but this, and then when you go to pry on it, it'll break that screen. So I like to have it up and just kind of do this little twist motion like that, and it helps peel that loose, but just do it slowly and gently. So now we have the phone open. Let me get my handy dandy little box is not here. Alright, so we will use a different box. I have one that has tape across it, sticky tape. That way nothing slides off of it. So we're just going to use a normal box. We're going to lift this up, go ahead and get all that remaining adhesive unstuck right now. You gotta be gentle, do not put it in too far, just enough to get that adhesive loose. We're going to flip this up so we can expose the screws. So what we're going to be taking off today, we're going to be taking off this panel, which there's 4 screws here. And then we're going to be first disconnecting the battery. The battery is under here, so we're going to have to take off these screws, and I believe that one. So let's start by disconnecting the battery. You want to keep your screws lined up in the exact position that they come off. Now you can buy these little magnetic stickers that go on your tabletop that has the outline of the phone and where all the screws would go. I do have a few, but not for every device, so I place them exactly the way that they come out on the tabletop, and then I place this right next to it. That way I know which order the screws go. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow this battery cable. Now there's 2 cables that you can see that are plugged in here, but if you take the end of this, and you can see where the battery's plugged in right there. If you take the end of this and just follow it up, you'll see that this one is actually the battery. And you just follow it back down, right, to the battery. This bottom one comes up to here. So you just need to unplug this one. Now that we have that unplugged, we can unplug the OLED. Now the reason we want to unplug the battery first is because if you go unplugging things and plugging them back in while the phone is still powered up or the battery is still connected, you can fry your screen and other components. It may not fry your screen, but it could fry your speaker. So we don't want any of that happening. So we always unplug that battery first. Now there are some cases where you won't be able to unplug the battery. Some phones, it requires you to take the entire device apart to unplug the battery. Some cheaper model phones where the screen just plugs into the front underneath of the screen, versus you would have to take the entire screen off to take screws out, to take the phone apart, to get to the back to unplug the battery. It just doesn't make sense. Alright, so here's your cable that goes to your speaker. And we want to just pop that loose, just like that. And there's your screen. Pretty simple. We're just going to move this to the side for right now, and we're going to focus on getting this off. So let's zoom into that. Now, we have different types of screws here. We have a 4-way, or Phillips, whichever you call it, another one, and then over here we're going to be using that tri-wing, and also up here. So let's just go ahead and remove these two. At this point you can turn your heat down or off. I just turned mine off. It's quite hot. It'll stay hot for a while. So we got those two loose. Now we're gonna loosen these tri-wings. And we're gonna loosen this tri-wing. They just get smaller and smaller and smaller. I don't know if you can see that. Just little bitty tiny screws. Alright. Place them in the order, in the same direction that you took them out. So we're going to pull up on this gently. You don't want to just yank it out, because what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get these loose. Because this is loose, but these sit down in this these little plastic frame. Let me zoom in, get that. So they sit down in this little plastic housing right here. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get them out of that. So gently we want to pull up on them. Gently, gently. That's why we got it warm. The adhesive is going to be a lot easier to get loose. Spin it around here. We got that piece out. We got that piece out. Now we just need to get this little sensor. Gentle is the name of the game, and that's what we're looking at there. Very gentle. It's the back, and there's the front. The pieces that are going to go back down inside of the new screen. Here's the new screen. I'll go ahead and take these plastic pieces off. Now we're going to fit these back down in it just the way that we got them out. We're going to put this little sensor right down in that square. We're going to lay these right back down on top. So this one is going to have to go in first, your microphone. Doesn't matter which one of these two goes in first, but this is going to have to go in first. Then you're just going to fold that over on top of it. Just like that. Get it lined up. Now we're going to fold this back over on top of that. Line up that little hole. And then we're going to get this first little tri-wing right here into position. So let's grab that screw. And get that down in there. Just like that. Nice and snug, not super tight. You don't want to strip your screws. The last thing you want to do is strip these little tiny screws. Which, I mean, if you never have to take it apart again or replace anything, it's not that big of a deal. However, me being a repair person, sometimes I see the same phone 2 times, 3 times. I've had someone bring the same phone 7 times. 7 times in 2 years they brought the same phone. I'm not going to disclose how they got broken, but we'll just say there were dogs and children and a husband involved. Yeah. Not maliciously. The husband wasn't malicious. He just happened to drop the phone. Alright. So, now we're going to bring this back over here. And we're going to plug this cable in up top. It's in, but sometimes you'll hear it snap. Let's see if we can hear this one snap. Just slightly. The battery. No snap with that one either. Let's power it on. It is not powering on. Oops. So, is the problem the screen? Don't know at this point. Let's try again. Power on. Just hold it for a minute. No power. Alright. So, it appears that the screen was not the problem. So I'm going to start looking at these water indicators. There's one here that's white, which it should be. There's going to be another one inside the SIM card tray. So we're going to check that one out. SIM card tray is right here on the side. Oh, I think that it's it right there, which it's white. So no water has gotten into the device that I can tell. And there is not one. It used to be located right down inside the SIM card tray at the bottom. So the SIM card tray, or the water indicators are fine. So now we just got to figure out what's going on with the phone. Alright, hold on one second. I got a call coming in. Alright, so it looks like this isn't going to be just a screen replacement video. However, I'm just going to go ahead and finish the video. We're going to take this metal frame and place it here. Then you're going to place your screws in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to take your other metal cover and place it over here. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 screws as well. Once you get those put back in, you're going to flip this down, just like so. And you're going to clip the top in first. Clip, clip. And then you're going to run your fingers down on the sides to clip it in. And then that bottom piece, clip. You're going to take your 2 bottom screws and you're going to replace them into the bottom. Now, since this is not going to be just a screen replacement video, I'm going to have to pause it here or stop the video and contact the customer and let them know that there's going to be other repairs required and get consent before I move forward. So, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I hope this helped.